Hello my loves and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nina and in today's video I'm going to share 10 easy 1960s hairstyles. When it comes to hairstyles in the 1960s, you can find three different worlds. First, you have the numerous hairstyles that you can achieve depending on how you set your hair. In the 1960s, there were hair-specific magazines that shared hundreds of different ways in which you could set your hair in order to achieve different types of hairstyles. These were the types of hairstyles that you would see women wearing in parties or events, and of course they require the time of preparation the night before or just a bunch of hours before the event, so you could set your hair, wait for a while, and then just do the hairstyle at the end so that it would be more flattering. Then you have the funky high-end magazine cover hairstyles that nobody would wear outside ever. If you type 1960s hairstyles, you will find a bunch of these, but these were meant to be shown as something you would see on the runway and not necessarily on the streets. So of course we're not going to be sharing any of those. And lastly, you have either the slightly teased hair with flipped ends that was really popular in the 60s, or just some everyday hairstyles that women would wear to change it up a bit. Those are the ones that we are going to be covering today. Most of these, the ones that I'm going to share today, don't necessarily need a tutorial because they are super easy. This is just meant to, on one side to give you ideas, and on the other side to actually show you how to do some of the most difficult ones. But I would say every single one of these is really easy and requires almost nothing to be done. So let's just jump right into the video. So let's start with a simple headband. This is pretty straightforward. You don't need anything other than just a simple headband that is elastic, and you just put it as normal. The idea in this case is to leave your bangs out and also to cover your ears. Women would do this in the 60s with everything. They would put the sunglasses after just the side part of hair in here. So, framing pieces were really important. In this case, the bangs are mostly the star of this look. And you could also tease your hair. I would suggest that so that it would look more like this. I'm not going to do that now because I have so many other hairstyles that I need to prepare for and that don't require teasing, but you already know how to do that. But it should look a little more like this so that you see your bangs, the headband, and also the teasing part on the back. With your headband, you could also use it with your hair going backwards and just teasing the back. I'm going to show pictures. I think that looks really nice. It doesn't really work out for me that much, so we're not going to share it. But for anyone for who it works for, you can do that as well. For the next hairstyle, we only need a headscarf, and it's mostly the same thing. This is the one I got that looks best with this hairstyle, and what we're going to do is same as we would do with any headscarf. We're going to put it on top of our head, and now what we're going to do is, instead of just making a knot on the back like this, we're going to cross it to the side and do the knot in there, so right next to one of our ears. And when the knot is done, we just secure that, and the two sides should be here. You can do a double knot if it's necessary. You could also tie it with a hair elastic in order for it to sit, but the idea is for it to look like this. Same thing as with any headband. You might want to do some slight teasing on the back so that it looks a little bit more bangs, headband or headscarf in this case, and some hair in the back. Or you could leave it like this. In the 1960s, if this was super wide, you wouldn't necessarily go for the teasing on the back. You would just leave it as it is. So you decide whatever works for you and whatever you think looks best. So the next hairstyle is a low ponytail, but not just a simple low ponytail as we know them nowadays. It's a 1960s soft low ponytail. So this is what you need to do. You are going to grab your hair, like if you're going to do not a low ponytail, like not here, but a little bit to the top. So you want to wrap your hair, do the ponytail, and then you're going to grab what you did and you're going to pull it towards the ceiling, and then you just let it sit. So like this. You want the hair on the side to drop like this. And the idea with this type of hairstyle, other than just to hide your ears on your hair, is to put some nice accessory on top so that it looks a little more like you tried. The next hairstyle is pigtails, which of course are super easy to do. You just need to separate your hair. I'm doing this in the non-professional way, which is using my nails instead of an actual comb to do this. But this is quite easy. You just need to separate your hair in the middle on the back. So like that. Hopefully it looks amazingly well. And then you just have to do some pigtails. The idea again with the 60s and also with the 70s is to hide your ears under your pigtails, not to show them as you would normally. Nowadays it's all about sharing everything, like showing your forehead, showing your ears, showing everything. In the 60s it's the complete opposite, it's to hide everything. But this is the idea, to have two pigtails. I like to turn them a little down so that they don't look like this. And that's basically it. Some pictures that you will find, women have some lace in here, like bows and things. I'm not going to do that because I think that is definitely too childish. This is really cute and nice for when you're exercising and you don't want your hair in the way, and also just for maybe like going to sleep or wearing pajamas or doing a nice photo shoot where you want some 60s hair. And it's definitely not complicated. You see how I did it in like 30 seconds. So if you are running out of ideas, maybe today is pigtail day. Next, we're going to do a half up, half down with a bow made out of your hair. So to start, we're just going to take a half up as you would normally do. Now we're going to take a clear hair elastic and we're going to secure that. So one loop, making sure that there are no hairs in the middle, and then the second one, we are just going to leave it like a bun, so looking like this, with the rest on the back, in here. Now we're going to open this into sections, so we're going to be separating this like this, and the idea is to turn it and make sure that each side looks like a bow. So let's keep this to the side. So we're going to take our bobby pin and we're going to pin that in place just on the bottom, so you shouldn't see that. Same on the other side. Make sure that everything looks well. The next hairstyle is super simple as well, and it's also a half up, half down, but we're going to try to achieve some volume on the top without teasing. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to wrap half up, half down, but we're going to start pretty much on top, not like in the middle of our head. And we're going to comb it upwards. So instead of going down, we're going to go upwards with the comb. The more hair you grab, the more volume you're going to achieve, but at the same time you will probably see it on the side, like it will be visible like this. So you have to decide whatever works for you depending on your hair, the volume that you need, and whatever works for you personally. But we're going to do it like this. So after combing it, I'm just going to get a regular headband, a regular hair elastic, and I am just going to put it way on top. So we want it almost in here. So now we have our hair looking like this, and you see a lot of volume without having to tease. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a ribbon, we're going to use our headband to use it as a base so that we know it's not going to fall. You wouldn't believe the amount of times that I've lost headscarves due to the wind. And now we're just going to do a basic bow as you would normally do with a ribbon. And you want to correct how long you want your ribbon to be. I'm sorry you can't see my eyes. It must be so disturbing that you're like looking at someone like this. But my bangs just fall that way. And there you go. Now we're going to do another half up, half down, but this time with a French twist. So to start, we are just going to grab a tiny piece of hair from one side. Again, you decide how much you want. And I'm going to cross it in here, making sure that my ears are covered. I'm guessing they are. And we're just going to take a bobby pin and we're going to pin it in place. So around the middle of our head. So here, I'm going to take another bobby pin to make sure that it's going to sit in place. So like this, and I'm going to cross it as so that it stays in there. Next, I'm going to do the same with the other side. And what I'm going to do, again, making sure that I'm not showing my ears, is that I'm going to wrap it with one, like doing a twist with one of my fingers, and I'm going to make sure that it sits on top of the other side. So when I know that it's sitting in place, I'm just going to grab another bobby pin and I'm going to pin that. And I'm just going to keep putting bobby pins in place until I am sure they are all hidden. And I'm just going to take my hair to make sure that everything sits in place. So for this tiny curl in here, I'm just going to pin the other way downwards. So in here, and I'm going to pin downwards. And it should look like this. Let's comb it slightly so that we know nothing is going to move. You can put some hairspray in there to set that. going to continue with a simple updo. You can find a whole variety of updos in the 60s. Of course, there are the really high-end looking ones that you find on those magazines with the hair setting and everything, but you have really simple ones, like maybe ones that you can see Catherine Deneuve wearing on some movies, or also, well, Pattie on the video from the Beatles of the song Something. You can see her wearing a beautiful updo that it's just basically hair back and a bun in here, so nothing that is too hard to achieve. But we're going to try and do something that is more for the late 60s, and it's basically an updo in here, but also we are going to leave our hair looking like the low ponytail that we did before. Let's start by separating our hair into 3 sections. So the back should be a wide section because that's going to make our bun. Okay, and now we're going to take the middle section in the back and we're going to do just basically a bun. We want it to be super up on our head. And now when it's on top, we're going to grab a hair elastic again and we're going to secure our ponytail. Again, tons of volume on the back, very 60s. And now we're just going to do a simple bun. I just twist it around and start pinning it in place using this types of bobby pins or hairpins actually. I'm just going to twist and pin. Don't do it to the entire thing because if not, it's going to be harder to pin it in place. So pin and continue twisting. And just like that. Test it. So now that that's done, we're going to grab our sides, like the ones that we separated, and we're just going to take them and we're going to try to hide our ear and try to just do one loop to the side. So my hair gets here because it's super long. I'm going to bobby pin it on the ends, but then I'm also going to grab the sides, so where the bun starts, so that I know that it's not going to move around. And I'm just going to set that in place. So I'm going to make sure that it's smooth and looking well. But now I'm going to go to the other side. Hiding the ears and then trying to make one round to the bun. I'm going to secure the ends and then I'm going to go to the beginning of the bun. So in this case it's around here, and that's where I'm going to pin as well, so that it doesn't move around. And I'm going to comb and make sure that it's soft. In this case, I would recommend using hairspray so that it sets in place. And if you go for the Pattie void, so going with your hair to the back, you need to take some pieces out. You can show your ears in that case, but you want to take some pieces out so that they frame your face, so you look more like this from the front. But for this specific case, we want to leave our bangs out and we want to create this illusion that the hair continues out, sort of like a loose bun. Okay, so the next hairstyles are the ones that require teasing. You know how much I hate teasing my hair. I love using hair rods. I'm not going to do today because I know maybe some of you don't have that prepared and you should learn how to tease your hair and how to do the hairstyles. But in case you want to know how that works, I have a video where I cover that. Not specifically the hair rod, but how to put one on, and in multiple videos that where I have like hairstyles, I always use one. But yeah, it's basically the same process. Instead of teasing, you use a hair rod, which is just hair wrapped as looking as a rat. I don't know how to explain that with it sounding nicely. What we're going to do now is we're going to tease our hair, and for that I'm just going to grab a halo section from the top, and we don't want it to be like super nice, we just want it to look like to separate our hair. And I'm just going to grab one section, like the one that it's on the bottom, and I'm going to put the rest of the hair here. I'm going to grab my hair like this. I'm going to comb it as normal so that there are not any knots on the ends, and then I'm just going to comb backwards, and I'm going to generate this teasing. That's the teasing. So you just try to go from like middle down, and that's going to create a bunch of little knots or little teasing, of course, and that's what is going to make your hair look a lot more voluminous. You want to grab it real hard like this and go downwards, and after you're done with the back you want to do the same on the front. So you want to do it like this. Normally you have to do this using hairspray first, then teasing, then hairspray again, which is brutal for your hair. So we're not going to do that today as well, because this is just as a reference. I will probably use some hairspray at the end, but this is how it should look, and it will start creating a whole lot of volume on the back. So we're going to continue with the next piece of hair. Okay, so we want it to be poofed out like this, and as we're going to do now a half up, half down in the same way that we did the other things, we don't need it to be extremely like exaggerated. We can just grab what we have and pin it in place on the back, and we can decide how tall we want it to be. So I'm just going to grab not actually bobby pins but a hair thingy, and I'm going to take the things that like the section that I teased, and I'm going to make sure that everything is teased enough. So I'm going to tease on the side. Again, we want it to go like this, so we're going to grab that as well, and we always want to smooth it out at the end so that we know. Same thing here, I think we need some teasing on the side as well. If I were to go out with this, I would definitely be wearing hairspray, because if not, it's going to fall down eventually and it's going to look like crazy. But now, as I'm just showing you, and as I've been really bad with my hair today, doing all these teasing and all these hairstyles, I don't want to make the poor thing go for another round of chemicals or things. But I'm going to set that in place. Now for for the last hairstyle, we're going to take what we already had, and we're going to start by putting the bangs to the side. So just wrapping it like this. So for example, Pattie Boyd has a picture where she has just one clip. It's actually a round clip, not a bobby pin. But in order to use, for example, some hairspray, you will need to set your hair with something anyway. And what we're going to do is we're going to just brush our hair using the teasing that we did before so that it sets as we are parting it on the side. I'm just going to move all the hair that I teased to the side, and having this set like this, I'm going to tease this part. So we're going to move our head like this, and I'm just going to grab some pieces from the side and just doing a tiny bit of teasing here. So it should look like this, and same with the one that goes on top. And smooth out. And we're going to do that with the back. I always look strange with my hair looking like this. So the idea is to smooth everything out, but it should look voluminous like this. And now I'm just going to take the pin down so that it sets like that. And that is how it's supposed to go. As I have bangs, I cannot really take that pin out, but if I were to hairspray, I would just use it until this sets like this with the bobby pin, and then I would remove that. But this is how it should look. It should make your head look super voluminous and super rounded as well. So that was everything for today's video. I hope that you guys learned something. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. Hopefully next week we will have more videos talking about other things from the 60s, 70s, or vintage in general. And yeah, see you on the next one. Bye!
But they sure got some cuties incorrect.